Bangladesh is a big country. It's one of the biggest countries in the world. It's not a small country, it's a big country in the measure that matters most, and that is its people.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is with immense gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I stand before you today on behalf of Ilannoor edification to welcome you all in the inauguration of deeply significant work, Solicited Sovereignty. It is in this spirit that we express our humble gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to unveil Solicited Sovereignty this evening, a work that invites reflection on how Bangladesh's strategic future can be grounded in faith, intellect and purpose. Please allow me to take a brief moment to reflect on this book. Solicited Sovereignty is not merely a title. It is a call to thought and responsibility. The book compiles a range of timely essays exploring Bangladesh's national, maritime and foreign policy interests through a lens that fuses strategic insight with moral conviction. Now, let us listen from our chief guest, Dr. David Brewster, Senior Research Fellow, National Security College, Australian National University, Canberra. And sir, your visit has have enhanced us to publish this book, because for the last 1 month we have been publishing, but since you are visiting Bangladesh and we had to catch it. Thank you, sir. By now we have received we have listened about you from many speakers, and we are very eager to listen from you. We got to listen from you and from your experience, from your intellectual input we need for this country. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, good evening. I'm really deeply honoured to be here this evening to help launch the book of my good friend Commodore Misbah. For those who don't know me, my name is David Brewster and I'm with the Australian National University obviously in Australia. I've been a pretty regular visitor here to Dhaka for the last 15 years or so. Why do I keep on coming back? Very good question. It's certainly not because of the traffic, but among the many reasons why I like to come back is one that I think the sense of humour of Bangladeshi people is actually quite similar to Australian sense of humour in many ways. And being able to laugh together is really quite a fundamental bond between us. So I love to come here to Dhaka and to laugh with Bangladeshi people. But another of the reasons that I keep on coming back is because I very early on formed the view that Bangladesh had really a great future, a future as an important emerging power in our region. And I really wanted to be part of that and even make a small contribution to Bangladesh thinking about the region. So in the last few years I've been working closely with Commodore Misbah and BIMRAD, and in fact recently we've the Australian National University and BIMRAD have partnered together to go forward on a number of projects relating to maritime security as part of really what I hope will be an enhanced relationship between Australia and Bangladesh. And during this time I've come to know Commodore Misbah as a naval practitioner, an author, and most importantly as a thinker. And I think, as some of our speakers have mentioned, it's so important when one writes, when one puts forward one's views, you need to think. You need to stand back and think and do research and come up with new ideas rather than just sort of repeating and plagiarizing others. Now this volume, this wonderful volume of collected writings is really a treasure trove of diverse subjects with a consistent underlying theme about Bangladesh's future. Now, Commodore Misbah states that at its core, this book is about the sovereignty of thought, the autonomy of ideas, and the necessity of wisdom in shaping the world around us. And I think that's really an extraordinary statement and a hugely ambitious task, but one that I think he acquits extremely well. So when you get to have a look at the book, you'll see that it's a real smorgasbord of writings about Bangladesh's place in the world on a huge range of subjects, such as maritime affairs, Antarctica's ice sheets, Brazilian trade treaties, Gen Z street art, and he draws from an incredible range of great thinkers around the world, including Sun Tzu, Hannibal, Shakespeare, Kant, Jefferson, Ataturk, just to name a few. And several of the collected papers explore different aspects of the Islamic faith and what it means for Bangladesh. And Misbah even teases us, I think with one of the papers at least, written with the assistance of AI, which I think is quite a fun thing to do. And throughout this collection of essays, a consistent theme emerges. How should Bangladesh engage with the world, drawing upon its own culture and traditions? Now, the name of the book, Solicited Sovereignty, is a wonderful name. And I'll just make a few personal reflections about what does sovereignty mean and what it doesn't mean. For one thing, sovereignty is a relative idea. It's not an absolute idea. So when, with the saying, no man is an island, the same with a country. Even island countries are not islands. All of us are interdependent and interconnected. And so as we think about and build sovereignty, that sovereignty or autonomy must be part of a broader interconnectedness with all the countries around us. Secondly, sovereignty is not unchanging. It's an evolving concept. It's a dynamic one. And that means that countries from time to time need to think about and perhaps redefine their ideas of what sovereignty means to them. Now, Bangladesh, when it became an independent nation in 1971, grasped sovereignty with the hands of the people. It wasn't given sovereignty, and that, I think, is an extraordinarily important feature of Bangladesh and the Bangladesh psyche. And certainly since the events of July last year, that has really triggered a whole new re-examination of what sovereignty means for Bangladesh. And that will be a process that will take some time for Bangladeshi people to think about. What does it mean? What does sovereignty mean for Bangladesh? What does that mean in practice? In my view, sovereignty is a positive thing, and it should not be defined in opposition to any particular country. It has to be defined from internally. What does it mean to be a Bangladeshi or an Australian or any other country? As I mentioned, in recent times, Bangladesh people have embarked on a new trajectory of development and democracy. And this historic change in the governance of the country is really an opportunity for Bangladesh to redefine its place in the region and the world. And I think that this is part of Bangladesh's emergence as a middle power in our region, or as Misbah describes it, a middle power maritime nation. So for many years, for many decades, Bangladesh has understandably looked largely inward, focusing on its own needs for economic and social development. But in my view, this also meant that sometimes Bangladesh played a lesser role in the region than it otherwise could have. But now, as Bangladesh graduates to a middle-income country and looks at its own sovereignty and its place in the world, Bangladesh's friends and partners around the world hope to see Bangladesh playing an ever more active role in promoting regional stability and exerting its influence across a broader canvas. So I think as Bangladesh looks ever more outward, it will play a very important role in strengthening the security of the region, starting with the Bay of Bengal. It's a difficult region, and that will make calls on Bangladesh as it needs to work to secure the Bay of Bengal region, including some very difficult neighbouring areas. But Bangladesh can also play an even more important role in the broader Indian Ocean, which is possibly one of the most diverse regions in the world. And Bangladesh certainly has many of the characteristics in terms of its thinking, its experiences in development, its history in gaining independence, its faith, to play an incredibly influential role in the Indian Ocean. And certainly Bangladesh's friends, such as Australia and others, look forward to seeing Bangladesh playing that role. So a key element of this will be Bangladesh's ability to look outwards to the seas as a major source of economic development through resources and through trade, but also, we have to acknowledge, also a source of a myriad of different types of threats. And history teaches us that an emerging power like Bangladesh needs to engage with the oceans as an essential part of its national trajectory. So Commodore Misbah's writings provide really an important start in answering many of these questions. But just as importantly, his ability to combine these big questions of grand strategy with humanity and compassion makes this book a real pleasure to read. And I heartily congratulate Commodore Misbah for his achievement in this book. Thank you.